Our second MAAC quarterfinal pits all rookie team guard Siobhan Lewis and the 8th-seeded Marist Red Foxes against the regular season champs from Iona and the MAAC Player of the Year Scott Machado, who leads the nation in assists. The winner gets Fairfield in the semis. It's Marist against Iona next. Welcome to the 2012 MAAC Men's Basketball Championship presented by Pepsi Max. It's the Marist Red Foxes against the Iona College Gales here in Springfield, Mass. And the bracket, you see Fairfield on to the semifinals, awaiting the winner of this one with two more quarterfinals yet to come here at the Mass Mutual Center tonight. And welcome everybody to Springfield. Doug Sherman along with former Division I assistant coach Rob Kennedy. Glad you could join us for a chance to see this Iona team that leads the nation in points per game, and they love to get up and down.
Not only do they love to get up and down, but they love to share the basketball. Over 19 assists per game. It all starts with the ball in Scott Machado's hands. They get out in transition as good as any team in the country.
Well, in our Blue Rock Energy one-on-one, we're talking about a couple of kids from Queens.
Yeah, Siobhan Lewis, who has made a big impact in his freshman year, especially coming down the stretch, had two huge threes in their win last night against St. Peter's, a member of the MAAC All-Rookie team. And then Scott Machado, the MAAC Player of the Year, and why not, averaging over 10 assists per game to lead the NCAA, trying to become just the 5th player in NCAA history to finish this season averaging double digits in assists.
And Rob, here are today's starting lineups. They're brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Energize your day with Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. It's double brewed and made the way you like it. Isaiah Morton, Devin Price, Siobhan Lewis, Jay Bowie, and Adam Kemp, a young group that is playing its best basketball of the year. Meanwhile, Iona, the favorite coming in, thanks in large part to their big three, Machado, Momo Jones, and Mike Glover, along with Sean Armand and Taj Ridley. Our coaching matchup is brought to you by Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock. Chuck Martin in his 4th season as head coach of the Red Foxes, and as mentioned, he certainly has his team heading in the right direction, coming off the first round win last night over St. Peter's. And there is Tim Kloos in year number 2 as head coach of the Gales. And he comes in with this team as the favorite, so they've got that pressure to deal with as they get ready for their quarterfinal game. And our keys to the game are brought to you by the American Red Cross. Rob?
And for Marist, one of the ways that you can slow Iona down is to post it and go right at Mike Glover inside and then rebound it, especially on the offensive boards. They've got to shorten runs. This Iona team can really string them together. How about 33-0 run in their last ball game against St. Peter's? For Iona, they're at the best when they can drive the ball into the lane with Machado and kick it out for those assists, especially from a guy like Armand spotting up. And then they just want to run, run, run. As you said, they lead the nation in scoring at over 83 a game because they get out in transition.
There you see the season recap. 24-6. They've won their last 5, and the Gales tops in the country in points per game, just ahead of the North Carolina Tar Heels, and tops in assists per game, just ahead of the Runnin' Rebels from UNLV, looking to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 6 years. Adam Kemp will jump center for the Red Foxes in their road red against Mike Glover, and it's Machado who steps in and has the basketball first, and why not? Some folks think he's going to be named a first-team All-American at the end of the year. He'll certainly wind up on somebody's All-American list. And here is Machado with the basketball. Sean Armand feeding Glover, who tries to split the double team, and a traveling violation is called. Meanwhile, for the Red Foxes, at 14-17 on the year, that is a dramatic improvement over the first 3 years under Chuck Martin. And certainly seeming to have the program heading in the right direction.
Yeah, they've won 5 out of the last 6 and 7 out of the last 9. The only 2 losses in that stretch to these Iona Gales and to Fairfield, who's already advanced into the semifinals.
Lewis misfired on his first attempt. This is Lamont Momo Jones with the basketball. And Sean Armand had no idea where he was on the floor. He was a full foot. His left foot was fully on the blue line and out of play.
Well, he's got that type of range. So, I mean, he can shoot it from about the 3rd row.
That's true.
But you do have to stay in bounds.
He was halfway to Chicopee. With the basketball, Devin Price. He had a terrific game last night in the first round against St. Peter's with 14 points. And he has been an Iona Gales killer this year. Price averaged 21.5 points a game in their 2 matchups with Iona.
And on the strength of his three-point shooting in both those games.
Adam Kemp.
And he was a Gale killer in their first game, was Adam Kemp, when he went for 25 and 15, by far his best game of the season.
We will talk in glowing terms about Iona at this end of the floor as Jones misses. Not so much at the other end. You can certainly score against this team. Isaiah Morton right on cue.
But here they come. Miss or make, Iona's running the basketball right up your back.
Relentless. Taj Ridley with his first 2 off the nice feed from Mike Glover.
And I love the energy from Glover to start this off, much like we saw last year at the start of the MAAC tournament. In transition, Marist able to get a finish. Tough shot with a little English on it from Isaiah Morton. But as soon as he scored it, look at him trying to sprint back because he knows the basketball's coming right up your back.
Well, more often than not, Iona will be in a position to take a shot within 5 seconds of getting it back, if not sooner.
Yep, and because they advance the basketball ahead via the pass. Certainly if Machado's got it, he'll put it down to the floor, but Tim Cluse celebrates the extra pass and that ball reversal as much as any coach in the country. You go to their practice, every time the ball stops with somebody, that's when he's getting on, guys, and nothing's celebrated more than making the pass ahead and getting everybody involved.
And they spend a lot of time in their practices working on their transition offense. It's what they do. It's who they are.
Here's the other thing they do. Feed it to Glover inside.
The preseason conference player of the year misses, but Iona will keep the basketball.
But in the 2 games against Marist, Glover's had his way. 25 and 10 the last time these 2 teams played, and 31 and 7 in their first game.
And he is a first-team All-MAAC performer, second in the league in scoring at over 18 per game, and second in rebounding at over 9 per game, but he and the Gales turned it over.
And you saw trying to post up Machado inside against the much smaller Isaiah Morton. That's something to keep an eye on as the game goes along.
Morton with the basketball. Quick pass up to Siobhan Lewis. Glover to beat. And he does it.
And that's where he is as good as anybody in this league. Out in the open floor using his size. Marist off to a good start. One of the things Chuck Martin talked about, he wanted to be aggressive against their pressure. He thought one of the keys was at the backside to go attack the rim. That's exactly what they did. Coming right at you. Nice feed ahead by Morton. And Siobhan Lewis, boy, is he smooth in the open floor, huh, Doug?
Well, you've got the number 8 seed coming off of a win last night over St. Peter's. Chuck Martin's club had to play full out last night. It was a game right to the finish, so they won't be rested here, but they come out and throw the first haymaker at the top seeds from Iona. Siobhan Lewis with 4 of the 8 Marist points so far. Fans use the hashtag MAACHoops when tweeting about your MAAC basketball team. Hashtag MAACHoops is the best way to get all the information on basketball happenings around the league. Here's Scott Machado, guarded by Isaiah Morton, who is listed at 5'8". Sean Armand, a prolific 3-point shooter, blocked from behind by Lewis. Armand to the bucket, and he missed again.
Here's where I think you got to be careful. If you're going to try and run at that pace and take shots like that against Iona, I think you're just playing into their hands.
Devin Price, the big 3.
Even when you make shots like that, the pace, you're not going to be able to keep that up. You attack over the backside of the pressure, that's one thing. If on a defensive rebound, if you don't walk the ball up against this Iona team, I think in the long run, you're just playing to their strengths. You're not going to outscore Iona.
Glover spinning into the lane, and he'll shoot 2. Adam Kemp, sophomore from Sherrill, New York, which is in central New York. Personal number 1, and Glover at the free throw line. Kemp has been a solid performer this year for Marist. 8.5 points, over 7 rebounds per game, and a true big at 6'10", 235. How about the game Glover had in the regular season finale against St. Peter's? A perfect 7 for 7. He's third in the country in field goal accuracy.
So far here tonight, he's been barking at his teammates, getting on guys, and we saw that last year. You know, he's certainly in the voting of the player of the year last year, probably finished in second to Ryan Rosser, and those two guys went head-to-head in the quarterfinals, and he took it out on Ryan Rosser. He thought he should have gotten the award. This year, I think he thought that his teammate Scott Machado should have gotten it, but he probably finished second in that voting.
Yep. Morton missed it. Armand, nice outlet to Momo Jones. A lot of red shirts back. Machado fires away. And Jay Bowie clears the rebound. Now, I've got to think that Mike Glover, for as much as anybody would love to have individual accolades, especially at this point with the journey that he has had through multiple high schools, multiple colleges, he'll trade it all in for not having the feeling he had last year in Bridgeport when they came up short and St. Peter's was the team cutting down the nets. Traveling violation against Jay Bowie.
Yeah, there's no question that he's come out with great energy to start this game. He's only thinking about one thing over the next 3 days. 3 wins, get to the big dance.
Momo Jones, the former Arizona Wildcat, with his first 2.
So much attention to Machado and Glover, you can forget that Momo Jones, one of the best players in this league. If he was playing for any other team, he would have been a first-team all-conference selection. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how things work next year when Glover and Machado are gone, when you've got Jones and Armand as that backcourt that really could be prolific.
And certainly Jones, a guy who's got no problem stepping up into the primary role.
No.
Some guys struggle with that next step. He will not.
Siobhan Lewis makes it a 13-6 Marist lead. Taj Ridley, no. Glover with the putback.
Oh, and he got the putback because he pushed in the back. Got away with one there.
Now in this matchup, Glover giving up a lot of size. He's listed at 6'7", which he's probably not, against Kemp, who is a legit 6'10". Morton again firing away. Rebound comes to Lewis. Kemp taps it, and here comes Machado.
His head's on the swivel. Looking around, see who's trailing, where guys are.
Foul against Price as Jones took him off the bounce. Mike Glover and the Iona Gales went 15-3 in MAAC play this year to win the regular season championship. Trying to work their way back to the MAAC finals and on to the big dance here in Springfield.
It's the playoffs. We haven't served a single calorie all season, and we're not serving one now. If you can't handle it, go sell foam fingers in the parking lot. How many calories are you carrying?
0!
How much Pepsi tastes? Now get out there and make me proud.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference has provided thrills and excitement to college basketball fans for over 30 years. Now you can get an inside look at the league schools and its student athletes by visiting the MAAC Experience at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. Check out the MAAC's rich history and be sure to take in the featured video, A Day in the Life of a MAAC Student Athlete. Don't miss the MAAC Experience at the Basketball Hall of Fame. For more information, visit hoophall.com.
Anaconda Sports, your sports authority, proudly supporting local high school athletes throughout the region. We want to thank all the teams and coaches that have made Anaconda the #1 dealer in the Northeast. Football, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever your sport, Anaconda has what you're looking for. From the latest gear and team uniforms to logoed shirts and hats for your company. Make Anaconda your connection.
Hey, if you want to go for sports equipment, go to Anaconda Sports. It's awesome, baby.
The Pepsi Max National MAAC Game of the Week is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Blue Rock Energy. Blue Rock Energy saves you money on electricity and natural gas. Blue Rock Energy, putting people in power. The American Red Cross, encouraging you to do something that means something. Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock, is proud to sponsor the MAAC. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. See how much you could save when you visit geico.com. Well, March Madness certainly is upon us, and for the Marist Red Foxes coming in against the regular season champs and being the prohibitive underdog, Rob Kennedy couldn't have asked for a better start to this ball game.
No, first time these two teams met, they were down 24 at the half and never really were in the ball game. Last time when they met at Iona, Marist had a lead in the second half of that ball game before they eventually lost by 9. But you're right, if you're the underdog, you want to come on out and establish yourself early, get some confidence, and as well not allow this game to get away from you. You've got to shorten those runs. Iona can all of a sudden turn around and pop you for a 20-1 run, and the ball game's over.
And that first matchup in Poughkeepsie, Iona went for 100 points. One of 4 times this year they have reached the century mark. Devin Price would close out by Machado. We talked about how well Price has shot the 3 against Iona this year. Certain that's on the scouting report. .15 on the shot clock. They feed Kemp. Missed the jumper.
The first thing he's looking is for a guy in the corner. You catch the ball in the post, his first look's got to be to the rim. He's got to become a better scorer when he catches the ball in the post. That's something he's really got to work on in the offseason to make that next step.
Armand hits the 3.
Well, Lewis got sucked in on the dribble penetration. You cannot leave Sean Armand. You got to hug him at the three-point line. Your natural inclination is to go give help, never help off Sean Armand, or exactly what happened there is what's coming at you, 3 in your face.
Well, he is 48% from beyond the arc when everybody in the building knows he's going to shoot it. And that's the best shooting percentage, not surprisingly, in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Morton, the freshman, turns it over. He seems to be playing at a pace that isn't conducive.
100%, playing too fast. Relax, settle down. That's why I said it's a little bit of fool's gold when they were running up the floor early on and scoring. You've got to get this game to a crawl to hang in there with Iona.
Well, Marist ran out to an 11-2 lead, and you see the Gales have quickly gotten right back into it. Machado fouled from behind by Morton. The freshman from Richland, New Jersey, although he is a New York City kid. He is from Brooklyn, but played his high school basketball at St. Augustine Prep down in South Jersey. And he picks up his first personal foul. Machado backing down Morton, still looking for a teammate. Momo Jones is that teammate. And Scott Machado has his first assist of the ball game.
Even as he gets himself 2 feet from the basket, he's still looking for a teammate.
Which wasn't always the case through his first 3 years. Not that he was not a true point guard, but he was not as dedicated to the role in his previous 3 years as he certainly has been this year. Mel Jenkins has come into the game for the first time for the Gales, applying the ball pressure there on Jay Bowie. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Lewis shakes himself free of Armand. Big rebound by Bowie.
Well, if you're going to take that shot, you need to make it. Well, one thing about Isaiah Morton, he's not bashful. Good hustle as Chucky Martin gets taken out on the sideline. You're going to like the hustle and effort by Siobhan Lewis.
Chucky Martin making sure his chicklets are still in place.
And he said, oh, that's Siobhan Lewis. Let me catch him. We can't have him injured here now. Not only do you need him for tonight, certainly he's the guy that they're going to build this program around for the future.
We'll be hearing from Chuck Martin after our next timeout. Make sure his teeth are okay. Glover left the teardrop a little short.
And good no call because Lewis went down like a deck of cards.
Bowie, nice job to get through the defense.
And get through the contact as well. Turned over.
Peter Prinsloo off the bench for the basketball now. Price back to Prinsloo, but he didn't accept it.
Yeah, not a good decision by Price.
Glover off to Jones and Prinsloo. He's called for the foul by Joe DeMayo. 2 free throws upcoming when we come back. But when we come back, we will hear from Chuck Martin, his Marist Red Foxes as the number 8 seed. 8 minutes in, giving Iona all it can handle.
Hey, what are you drinking?
Dunkin' Ice.
Biggest iced coffee I can get.
Iced coffee helps me keep up. I love iced coffee.
Drinking Dunkin'.
I'm drinking Dunkin'.
Drinking Dunkin'.
Dunkin' iced coffee.
I run on Dunkin' Iced Coffee.
America runs on Dunkin' Coffee.
Everyone here at Iona College has a great spirit of enthusiasm as students start to see our facilities and speak to our faculty. They realize this college gives our students a great opportunity to learn more about themselves and go on to fantastic careers in whatever field they choose.
The first thing that strikes you when you arrive at campus is the beautiful buildings and grounds. But above all, Iona focuses on students and student success. And Iona is an institution that changes lives.
Hey, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Dunkin'. Coffee. Black, straight up.
Extra cream, 3 sugars.
French vanilla. Iced coffee for me.
Iced coffee with a turbo shot.
I'm drinking Dunkin'. Drinking Dunkin'.
I'm drinking Dunkin'.
Drinking Dunkin'.
America runs on Dunkin' Coffee.
Back here at the Mass Mutual Center with Marist is Chuck Martin. Coach, you could tell defensive transition is on your kids' minds right now.
Oh, absolutely. Iona is one of the better transition offensive teams in the country. You can't let them get out in transition. They're averaging 80 points a night. Momo's tremendous. They've got tons of weapons. You've got to eliminate transition baskets.
What do you want to see out of you guys offensively here?
Well, I like what we're doing. We're attacking them in the full court. We're executing fairly well in the half court. I wouldn't change a thing right now. I like our energy. I want to keep doing it for the next half.
Thanks, Coach. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Vin Parisi. 18-13. Coach Martin's Red Foxes up by 5. Last night, the MAAC inducted the 2012 Honor Roll class, and Iona's recipients were 1990 graduate Patty Reynolds Bazil. Meanwhile, the Marist recipients were 07 graduate Alyssa Kresge and 88 graduate Rick Smits. Kresge led the Red Foxes to a Sweet 16 run in 2007. She's currently an assistant coach under Brian Georges at Marist. Meanwhile, the Dunking Dutchman, Rick Smits, was the second overall selection of the Indiana Pacers in the 1988 NBA draft. He holds 25 basketball records in the history of Marist College. And even though Rick Smits predated Marist being a member of the MAAC, it certainly is good form by the MAAC to include Rick Smits when you are tipping your cap to the Marist program.
And he certainly had a ton of fun yesterday, not only at the event over at the Hall of Fame, but he was hanging around in the lobby taking pictures. It's amazing. He's able to stand behind everybody in every picture, and he is a clear head and shoulders above everybody. You forget how darn big he was, 7'4". Former NBA All-Star, also played in the championship series with the Pacers. Having fun throughout this weekend.
And back in the day, before they played in the MAAC, along with a point guard named Drafton Davis, those Marist Red Foxes were pretty darn good. These Red Foxes giving the regular season champs from Iona something to think about. Off the miss by Jay Bowie, here comes Momo Jones. Armand. He certainly has the range from well beyond the three-point line, the NBA three-point line as well.
Yeah, and they never have to go to the monitor on one of his three-point shots. I mean, he's beyond the NBA three-point line, and you could forget about him at times. Backcourt. Javon Lewis brought the ball as well as both feet into the front court and step back over the line.
Yeah, when you're talking about the over and back line, the midcourt strike, there are 3 points to it. Both your feet and the ball.
Yep. And they all have to get into the front court, and then any one of the 3 back in the back court, it's a violation. One thing you can't do when you're playing Iona, you can't turn the basketball over, and you can't allow Sean Armand to get open threes. He's already gotten 2 open looks from 3.
R.J. Hall's into the game. Provided a huge lift for Marist in last night's win over St. Peter's. Mike Glover. Well, he certainly should be able to get past Prinsloo anytime he wants, but he couldn't finish. Manny Thomas has also come in for Marist, 6'5" freshman from Xaverian High School in Brooklyn.
They try to force it once again. You got to let what the defense gives you come. You can't force plays. On a backdoor cut, you're trying to throw it 30 feet on a bounce pass. Even though you think it might be there, much smarter to just let the game come to you.
Well, Rob, we heard Coach Martin say, coming out of the timeout with Vin Parisi, how he liked the way his team was attacking on offense. What did you think about Coach's stance right there about, we're going to keep attacking these guys?
Well, you got to play with confidence, and you got to attack when you can. But when it's a dead ball situation, when it's a defensive rebound or after a score, I think you got to walk the ball up the floor against them. You want to attack against pressure on the backside. You want to try to rebound and all of a sudden, or come up with a steal and you're in transition, fine. Other than that, Iona doesn't want to guard you. Make them guard for 35 seconds in the shot clock. To me, that's the best recipe to be able to try to beat these Gales. I don't think anybody in this league has enough offensive firepower to try and outscore them in a shootout.
Jermel Jenkins misses on the 2-point shot. Thomas, quick release.
Shots like that, I don't think you can hang with them for an extended period of time.
Armand, nice drive and dish to Glover.
Because they just rush it up the floor, get you spread out, and then put Mike Glover in the low post, and you can't handle him in those situations. You got to force Iona to have to walk the ball up the floor as many opportunities and possessions as humanly possible.
9 minutes remaining first half. Tied at 19. Marist led 11-2.
Kemp's got a big size advantage inside against Armand, and they didn't find him.
Offensive foul against Lewis. Well, if you're a perimeter player for Marist and you see Kemp at 6'10", has Armand at 6'5", and much smaller, how do you make sure you find an angle to get him the ball?
Put the ball to the floor and create the angle, and then stay with it. Don't bail on it. Even if you miss him the first time, put the ball to the wing and then dump it back into him. If you don't score at the rim against this Iona team, you're in trouble.
Traveling against Momo Jones. He's a young man who played his first 2 years of college basketball at Arizona and then transferred back to the metropolitan area. Received a waiver from the NCAA so as not to sit out the year and transfer as you always have to because of a hardship. Grandmother is in failing health in New York City, although we understand she is doing much better. But he was allowed to play immediately for Iona. The Gales certainly happy for that. Nice look inside to Lewis.
Yeah, great feed by R.J. Hall. Nice over the head, and here they come right at you.
Sean Armand, not just a three-point shooter.
Another assist for Machado.
R.J. Hall, again, having a nice MAAC tournament so far.
And on made baskets, I'd go run at Machado. I'd send my point guard right to Machado wherever he was and try and take away that outlet pass to stop them to get on that full run. You got to do something to try and disrupt their rhythm.
Price pulls down the Armand miss. Hall played 19 minutes off the bench last night and was very efficient. 10 points on 3 of 4 shooting from the floor, 4 for 4 from the line, and the only veteran presence really that you've got for Marist.
And hit 2 big drives inside the last 4 minutes as part of that season-high 10 points.
Bad pass there, though. He anticipated the cut by Price, who was fading to the corner instead. 7:12 on the clock here in the first half. R.J. Hall and the Red Foxes on top by 2.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best, while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history, where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with a focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
I'm Sienna.
Hi, I'm Sienna.
I am Sienna.
I am Sienna.
Sienna College offers an exceptional private education with a unique foundation of liberal arts, career preparation, and Franciscan values.
That's the worst half of football I've ever seen. Are you telling me we can't do this?
I got this, Coach.
You know, people said, Pepsi Max? You can't get maximum Pepsi taste with 0 calories.
Who said that?
But Pepsi Max didn't listen.
We just delivered it. So get out there and taste that sweet 0-calorie victory.
The little guy's right.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Do you validate parking?
23-21, Marist leading Iona. 7:12 on the clock here in the first half. The MAAC and Rider University host the 2012 NCAA Rowing Championships at Lake Mercer in West Windsor, New Jersey from May 25th through the 27th. For more information, visit ncaa.com/sports/rowing. Doug Sherman, Rob Kennedy, Vin Parisi back with you at the MAAC Mutual Center here in Springfield, Massachusetts. Year number 1 of the MAAC Championships being held at this neutral site in downtown Springfield. And Iona hoping to cut down the nets. Marist looking to pull a surprise. It would be an absolute stunner if Chucky Martin's club could take down the top seed from Iona.
Oh, especially how well Iona's played throughout this regular season. They're tying a school record with 15 MAAC wins. They've already won 24 games on the season. And they have steamrolled teams at times, averaging over 83 points per game to lead the country in scoring.
7 times before, Iona has cut down the nets after winning a MAAC championship. Smythe just off the bench for 2. Kyle Smythe, another one of the perimeter weapons at the disposal of Tim Cluse. Well, he's the 3rd all-time three-point shooter in school history, and we don't see him until 7 minutes to go in the half, and he comes right in and knocks down a shot.
Well, he had been in a shooting slump, but the last 3 games, 3 of 4 from behind the three-point line. But the 8 games prior to that, Doug, he was just 2 of 16, and that's such a big part of what Kyle Smythe brings to the floor. And if he can get back into an offensive rhythm like he had right there, stepping right into this shot with great rhythm. There it is, going through the basket. A little too early to see whether or not his feet were behind the line or not.
Now, Smythe got his junior season off to a terrific start down in San Juan, Puerto Rico. He played so well, shot the basketball so well. With the quick release, was able to shoot against Purdue, was able to shoot against Western Michigan, and against Maryland as this Iona team routed the Terrapins. He has seen his minutes go down as the season has gone on. I don't know if you can tell from that look whether his right foot was on the line or not.
No, but the one thing you could see is that Gary Tracy was right on the play, in good position, and he put down that 2 right away. And certainly that angle, it was tough to see. Tough to see on that angle as well.
But Gary Tracy is the one of the 3 officials not over at the monitor.
Can't see his feet, but you can see picture-perfect form on that release.
They have determined indeed it is a 2, so we are tied at 23. Kyle Smythe, instant offense off the Iona bench. Young man who has endured multiple shoulder injuries out of River Edge, New Jersey. Played his high school ball at Don Bosco Prep. R.J. Hall guarded by Jermel Jenkins. They get it across the stripe with a couple of seconds to spare. Foul off the ball. It's Kyle Smythe. He had a hold of Thomas apparently. 13th foul against the Gales and the first against Smythe. Marist has been called for 5 team fouls so far in the half. Lewis misses the 3.
And just settled for a shot there. Nothing happening in the offense. You can't settle for tough guarded shots.
Machado. The easy 2. Once he turned the corner, there was no resistance.
And he turned it quickly. Got himself deep into the lane.
First 2 points for the senior point guard out of St. Benedict's Prep in New Jersey.
A little screen by Ridley up top and brushes Lewis just enough to allow Machado to turn the corner. Here's where you're really in a tough bind, because if you give help, all of a sudden he kicks it out to the wide open 3. I think you're almost better Machado taking those 2s and not helping off those perimeter guys.
Well, Scott Machado leads the nation in assists per game. Kendall Marshall of North Carolina is now a distant second, and Machado is all but assured of winning that for the year. And the numbers have just become staggering. And he was the runaway winner of Conference Player of the Year.
And when you see those numbers and you see how they stack up in historical terms, the all-time leader in assists in the MAAC, he's got some of those gaudy numbers that you just have not seen in the history of college basketball. With 1 more rebound, he will go over the 500 rebound mark as well.
Yep, the average is 5 rebounds per game as a senior. He passed Siena's Ronald Moore a couple of weeks ago to become the all-time assist leader in conference history. Morton with the teardrop.
Nice floater when he got himself into the lane.
Morton says, I don't care that I'm playing this All-American head-to-head. Ties the ball game at 25 apiece. Lamont Jones, way long.
And you notice Marist at a much slower pace over the last couple minutes of the ball game. You come on out and show, hey, we're going to run with them, and then just slow it down. Get your guys confident and then play the way that you need to play to give yourself a chance.
Lewis finds Hall. Jones gives it back to Jenkins. Machado. The 3 hits the front rim. Taj Ridley after the loose ball. And he is tied up. The possession arrow favors Marist. Now, tempo-wise, Tim Cluse wants it to pick up. His guys average 83.4 points per game. They lead the nation in that category. And he's looking to get at least 20 fast break opportunities per game, and they have been slowed down somewhat by Marist so far here tonight. Another indication that Iona has not run as it likes to, as Machado has only 2 assists so far in the ball game.
1-3-1 now from Iona. They'll mix and match their defenses, give you some different zone looks.
Off of the failed alley-oop, Adam Kemp puts it in.
Nice finish with the left by Machado. Had the high ball screen from Glover, didn't take it, and instead able to beat his man off the bounce.
Now, the last college player to average double-figure assists was Baylor's Nelson Haggerty way back in 1995. There's Machado with a rebound. We are seeing not just the assists so far here tonight. There's the lob to Glover. Couldn't finish the dunk. And then the whistle stops play. Well, Scott Machado is the Player of the Year in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. He's the senior point guard, but the freshman point guard for Marist, Isaiah Morton, is doing what he can to keep the Red Foxes close. Welcome back to the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. Quarterfinal number 2. The winner of this ball game will move on to the semis tomorrow night. Marist has been giving Iona all it can handle.
And one of the reasons their freshman star has been a big part of it. Siobhan Lewis, a member of the all-rookie team. You can see why. He is terrific in the open floor. And Doug, he's really versatile. He's a guy that's got good length and can go attack the rim. And lately, he's really been shooting the ball well from beyond the three-point line. And if he can continue to do that, as he has in the last 5 games, hitting 8 of his last 13 three-point shot attempts, he is really going to be a handful. Already with 9 points here in this first half.
Now, basketball wasn't even his first favorite sport. Siobhan Lewis loved tennis. He was encouraged by his late father, by the name of Edgar, to play tennis. Dad passed away, and Lewis certainly has made the right decision to go on to play basketball. Young man who grew up in Queens, played his high school basketball on Long Island at St. Mary's, which coincidentally was the place that Tim Cluse spent a number of years, making a name for himself as a coach at the high school level.
Same high school that Scott Machado started his high school career at before transferring to St. Benedict's and playing for Danny Hurley.
And while Tim Cluse and Scott Machado crossed paths at St. Mary's for 1 year, neither of them were still around when Lewis, who is just a freshman, made his way to St. Mary's.
Seeing the 1-3-1, you've got Ridley at the top, at the point of that defense. His size couldn't bother a guy like Morton.
Jay Bowie back into the game.
And Jay Bowie, we talked about how well Siobhan Lewis has been playing coming down the stretch. Jay Bowie, a huge reason for this turnaround for Marist.
Devin Price was nearly out of bounds when he accepted the basketball. Missed the 3, and the Gales have it. Glover, just a big presence inside. He puts the Gales back on top.
And every time Marist takes a quick bad shot, it's a quick 2 at the other end for Mike Glover.
Glover now with 8 points. He and Sean Armand make that 9 points actually for Glover as he pulls down the miss by Morton. Glover's got 9. Armand has 8. Machado spins away from Morton.
Just using his size and strength. Marist got to be careful. They've played so well here in this first half. They can't allow it to get away from them. A couple of bad shots, quick shots. And all of a sudden, Iona takes full advantage at the other end.
6 points, 2 assists for the Bob Cousy Award finalist, Scott Machado. Price, tough shot. And here come the Gales. Armand smartly gives it up to Machado, who lost the basketball. And then a foul called against Machado. Send it over to Vin Parisi. Has a little factoid about Tim Cluse.
Yeah, well, Tim Cluse's factoids, Doug, are actually about the Red Foxes. I was talking with Cluse and the Iona coaching staff before the game, and believe it or not, the first time these two teams hooked up, Iona scored nearly 60 points in the first half up in Poughkeepsie. But Tim Cluse was quick to mention that that game was on January 8th. He believes that this Red Fox club has really, really improved these past 7 weeks. He thinks Chuck Martins did a tremendous job and thinks they're a completely different ball club right now. Guys?
Thank you, Vin. And I think, Rob Kennedy, you would say the exact same thing.
Yeah, there's no question. They're playing different, and it all changed when they put Siobhan Lewis into the starting lineup as he, on cue, steps up and knocks down that shot. Yeah, they gave up 56 points in that first half, as Vin was alluding to in that ball game. A couple things happened when Lewis went into the starting lineup. Jay Bowie got to the 4 spot. He's much better there, and their defense has also really shorted up. Part of the reason why they've won 7 out of their last 9 coming into this ball game.
Momo Jones with a bucket for Iona. And Siobhan Lewis joined the lineup, the starting lineup for Marist, back on February 2nd at Manhattan. So it's been just about a month, and certainly it's made a big difference. Off his miss, Kemp on the weak side puts it back in. Lewis limps back down court. Glover attacking again. And the ball pop out. Morton, tough runner.
Where are you going? I mean, you just got to have some poise and patience, because when you don't, Glover just has his way. I mean, every time there's a bad shot at the one end for Marist, it's an opportunity for Glover at the other end.
Yeah. 4 seconds later, Glover has it in his hands under the basket.
That's a great point. 4 seconds. It might be 2 seconds later. I mean, they just rush it. But if you're going to take a wild shot, I know you're a freshman point guard, but you just got to calm down. If you don't, you're going to be in big trouble.
That was the second foul on Siobhan Lewis. Chuck Martin has yet to make any indication that he might take his star freshman out of the ballgame with 38 seconds left in the half.
Well, you got an offensive possession coming up, so you might as well keep him on the floor. But he's got to be smart, not pick up a quick, cheap third foul.
Glover seems to be winded. Something's not quite right. He got the ball once and threw it back to Joe DeMeo, the official, and is certainly taking his time.
Tired from running up the floor so quickly to get those scores inside. Here comes a little trap from Iona.
Second foul on Smythe. Well, coming up at halftime from here in Springfield, Massachusetts, we'll have our first half analysis. We'll show you the MAAC award winners, including some of the players in this ball game, and we will break down the MAAC tournament bracket. One team has moved down to the semifinals. That's Fairfield. The Stags earlier today won their quarterfinal game over Ryder in what was a highly entertaining ball game, and this one certainly has the look of another one that's going to go down to the wire.
And certainly Marist will hold the basketball for the last shot. And against Iona, you got to make sure that last shot's with about 2 seconds left. You shoot it any earlier than that, and they've got plenty of time to run it back up your throat.
Here we go. Morton shot it with 6, and here comes Armand. He pulls up for 3. And Marist dodges the bullet.
Yeah, dodge the bullet, because you just cannot go ahead and take a quick shot against these Iona Gales.
Our score at halftime, Iona 35, Marist 33. But the Red Foxes have given the Gales all they can handle so far. Back with the MAAC halftime report right after this. While the Special Olympians play a halftime game here at the Mass Mutual Center, we keep our focus on the second quarterfinal of the MAAC Basketball Championships. Marist giving Iona all it can handle. Welcome back, everybody. Doug Sherman along with Rob Kennedy. The Red Foxes jumped out to an 11-2 lead, but Iona predictably gets right back in it. Scott Machado has only 2 assists credited to him so far, but one of them was an absolute beauty.
And it also sums up how they scored so quickly against it and why they lead the nation in scoring. And we'll take a look inside the play with their pressure offense. So here you are, you're Marist, you run a great set, let it run right here. Terrific feed, you score the basketball, freeze it, because now you're in trouble. Because here come the Iona Gales. Right out of the basket, Glover gets it on the run, and look at this court vision and the bounce pass by Scott Machado. That's why guys think he can play in the NBA. That court vision, look at this angle right there. Are you kidding me? I mean, talk about threading a needle. Tom Brady can't put it in a tighter spot, or Eli Manning, since he won the game, can't put it in a tighter spot than that. Just right there, summing up how the Gales just come at you absolutely every time up the floor.
And that's why the Iona Gales, every time they play basketball, have NBA scouts up in the stands like we have here today, watching Scott Machado do his thing. Take a break and come back with more of our halftime report. We'll be talking MAAC Award winners for 2012. Iona with a 2-point lead, trying to avoid the upset against the 8th-seeded Red Foxes.
It's the playoffs. We haven't served a single calorie all season, and we're not serving one now. If you can't handle it, go sell foam fingers in the parking lot. How many calories are you carrying? 0! How much Pepsi taste? Now get out there and make me proud.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
I am very much a mama's boy. I love her to death. And it was just, I mean, it's going to be hard. I know I'm going to miss home a little bit. My life's goal has always been to be a surgeon. I found out that Niagara has a great science department, so I was like, hey, I like this. I went a school that's a little bit more hands-on experience, one-on-one with the teachers, because I think you learn better that way. I do want to do research, especially on cancer. My mom had it, so, I mean, it's just something I'm definitely very passionate about. I only applied at Niagara because I knew this was the place I needed to go.
When every moment matters and a hand reaches out. When someone gives blood and a life is saved. That moment when heartbreak turns to hope. You're there through the American Red Cross. Every day the Red Cross responds to nearly 200 neighborhood emergencies. And your support makes it possible. Use this moment to join us today. Visit redcross.org.
Your dream college should have it all, promising not just a degree, but an inspired direction for life's journey. An intimate college with a global alumni network, a residential campus experience, a subway ride from the capital of culture and opportunity, where you can pursue your dreams and change the world. Manhattan College has been delivering on this dream for over 150 years. Go to manhattan.edu and discover what a LaSallian Catholic college education can promise your future. Manhattan College, dreams delivered.
35-33, Iona with a 2-point lead back at the half. And let's take a look at the MAAC Award winners as they were announced on Thursday evening. As we've been talking about, Scott Machado was the runaway winner of Player of the Year in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, leading the nation in assists per game. And then Jimmy Patsos, the first time in his 8 years at Loyola, he has won the MAAC Coach of the Year award. And when he was presented it on Thursday, he became emotional as he reflected back upon his tenure taking over a program that had won 1 game the year before to where they are right now, finishing second in the regular season this year, and they're coming up with their MAAC quarterfinal later on this evening here in Springfield. Patsos also quipped that he thought perhaps he was getting the award as a Lifetime Achievement Award, but indeed it's for his achievements so far here this season. Wanye Green, one of the terrific freshmen in the conference, was named the Rookie of the Year 3 times this season. He was the Rookie of the Week, and so he wins Rookie of the Year. Ramel Brown, who leads the conference in block shots, not surprisingly the Defensive Player of the Year, and he's been a big part of the Manhattan Jaspers turnaround. We will see Manhattan coming up in our nightcap against Siena, scheduled to tip off at 9:30 Eastern Time. And then Justin Drummond, our 6th Man of the Year in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference this year. for the Loyola University Greyhounds. We also have our first team All-Stars. There is Machado again, along with Rakim Sanders, who we just saw help lead Fairfield into the semifinals. He and the Stags are awaiting the winner of this ball game in tomorrow's semis. Eric Etherly for Loyola. George Beeman, the leader in scoring in the MAAC for Manhattan, and then Mike Glover, who we're watching tonight. And then Odi Anisicki. How about the years he's had for Siena? He leads the country in rebounds per game. He's somebody who started the season terribly slow, but Anisicki had a tremendous last 3 months and certainly a well-deserved spot on the 2012 first-team All-MAAC roster announced 2 nights ago here in Springfield, Mass. We'll take a break at the intermission. Got ourselves a competitive ball game. It's the 1-8 game, but the 8s from Marist down only by 2 to the regular season champs.
College isn't something to do just because you think you should. It's a journey of discovery. A balance of learning, doing, and practicing, inspired by strong values. College is your chance to translate ambition into opportunity. Begin your journey of discovery. St. Peter's College, spc.edu. Spring Open House Saturday, April 21st at 10 a.m.
The New Era Buffalo flagship store features exclusive, limited edition product that can't be found anywhere else. Choose from hundreds of cap styles, including the iconic 5950 fitted, 3930 stretch fit, and the newest 950 snapback. Add to the mix New Era apparel, and you have way more than a store that just sells caps. You have a destination for a complete look. Stop by and visit us at 160 Delaware Avenue for your Sabres gear and more. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Canisius College is committed to academic and athletic excellence. The Jesuit tradition prepares students for a lifetime of service. From the classroom to hands-on experience, Canisius students are ready to succeed. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
Welcome to the end. For the glory of the Division I MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center in Springfield. Action guaranteed to have you on the edge of your seat.
All the way with the slam dunk.
The way to the NCAA, the MAAC Championship. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center. Grab your tickets at Ticketmaster.com, MAACachusets.com, or at the Mass Mutual Center box office.
Top-seeded Iona holding on to a 2-point halftime lead over 8th-seeded Marist in quarterfinal number 2. The bracket shows that 4th-seeded Fairfield was able to hold off Ryder earlier today, 65-63, in a thrilling ball game. But the Stags await the winner of this one. And then tonight, 2nd-seeded Loyola will face 7th-seeded Niagara, scheduled to tip at 7:30. And then the nightcap at around 9:30, Siena will take on Manhattan. Those two teams split their regular season matchups, and one of them will move on to the semis late tonight. MAAC fans, Loyola University, Maryland is playing in the Hall of Fame tip-off tournament at Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut next year. At the same time, Marist College is a participant in the Old Spice Classic at the HP Fieldhouse in Orlando, Florida. And why not join them? My goodness, a couple of great destinations. If you are a fan and alumnus of either of those schools, get yourself in November either to Uncasville or down to Orlando to root on your Greyhounds and Red Foxes. Another break here at the Mass Mutual Center. Back with more of our halftime report. Coach Kennedy rejoins me with the Gales on top by 2. welcome back to the Men's Basketball Championship presented by Pepsi Max here at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts, the home for the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference for the next 3 years. Iona with a 2-point lead at the intermission. And welcome back, everybody, inside the Mass Mutual Center. Doug Sherman along with Rob Kennedy. An 11-2 start for Marist quickly went away, but still the Red Foxes down only 2 against the regular season champs have to feel real good about themselves.
I agree 100% because they're playing well and they've got themselves in the ball game. That's the first part. Now they've got to play smart enough to give themselves a chance to win.
Well, Siobhan Lewis was terrific in that first half of the Red Foxes.
And he has been terrific throughout his freshman year, moving without the basketball, getting himself to the rim, as well Isaiah Morton with a good first half. Nice little teardrop inside and an even better feed ahead, this time to Siobhan Lewis to be able to score at the back end of the pressure defense. For Iona, well, you know you're going to get a lot of Scott Machado coming at you. Wasn't assists in the first half when he had just 2, but he was able to turn the corner a couple of times. There's a range of Sean Armand. I think that was from Amherst, by the way. Nice interior feed by Mike Glover. Iona's going to keep coming at you, even though they did not shoot it as well as they usually do in the first half at just 45%.
First half stats brought to you by Geico. Pretty even all the way across the board, and not surprisingly, a 2-point ball game.
And 2 big keys, I think, for Marist. Points in the paint. We said they needed to post it. They've been able to do that and score it at the rim. And then second chance points, keeping Iona off the backboards and also keeping them from running by coming up with a couple of offensive rebound opportunities themselves.
And here's a look at our Blue Rock Energy one-on-one update. Talking about the 2 young men from the borough of Queens. Lewis has been very good, so has Machado.
And Machado, though, held to just 2 assists in that first half because Iona was not out in transition as much as they would like.
Well, certainly they'd like to crank it up for the final 20 minutes. Machado and Momo Jones awaiting at midcourt for the start of this second half, trying to assure their spot in the semifinals. Machado averaging over 10 assists per game, 10.1 to be exact. Tops in the country, only 2 so far, but he can pile them up in a hurry. We have seen him go for 14, 15, even 16 several times this year.
Yeah, on the season, he's got 7 games of 14 or more assists.
Sean Armand with the foul. He said he's got range all the way to Amherst. I'm sure Coach Kellogg would love to have him in a Minuteman jersey.
Certainly so. And he's one of those guys that if you lose track of him for a second, not only has he got the range, but he's got that quick release. And before you know it, your head's spinning and it's too late.
And the thing about Sean Armand is that, you know, he really came out of high school. He didn't play at a basketball powerhouse, Jackie O High School in Manhattan. He didn't get serious about basketball till he had a growth spurt. Momo Jones off the feed from Machado.
Didn't take long for Machado to get his first assist of the second half, and here's where they try to get you in one of these runs. Quick score, right up into the full court pressure. Of course, it's a jump ball, but Marist will hold possession.
But as I was getting to about Armand, he is not just a 3-point shooter anymore. He has evolved into a more valuable piece in many other ways, and he's not just lurking around the perimeter anymore.
Absolutely, and that's what you got to do. You know that teams are going to come running at you, so if you can put the ball to the floor and be more than just a standstill shooter, you're going to have great opportunities for yourself.
Jones whistled for the foul. Oh, by the way, Scott Machado just pulled down his 500th career rebound.
Yeah, and with that, we were looking it up yesterday. Andy Brill, a member of our crew, terrific research. We think that he's the only player in the history of the NCAA to have over 1,500 points now, 500 rebounds, 850 assists, and those are the type of eye-popping numbers that he's put up throughout his career.
Machado was the MAAC Rookie of the Year in 2009. Been a first-team All-Conference player the last couple of years. Siobhan Lewis may have that sort of future ahead of him. What a terrific freshman season he's in the midst of. He leads all scorers now. Does Siobhan Lewis with 12 points. Armand hits from the foul line.
And that's what you were talking about. Coming hard off the screen, curling, and hitting that foul line jumper. Not just standing out at the three-point line trying to tee it up.
Bowie, Morton, Price, Lewis, and Kemp on the floor for the Red Foxes in their road reds. Bowie on the fadeaway came up short. For Iona, Glover, Machado, Jones, Ridley, and Armand. Same starting five in the second half. And Marist needs to be careful here, down by 5. And it could get to double figures in the blink of an eye if they're not careful. The lob to Glover. Somehow guiding it into the basket for another Machado assist. Blocking foul on Armand.
Machado, he and Glover play so well together. And you're right, somehow just kind of guided the basketball with one hand, his left hand, mind you. Nice feed right up there. And one of the reasons why Scott Machado leads the country in assists is because Glover finishes so many plays. And one of the reasons why Glover's third in the country in field goal percentage is because Machado puts him in situations like that to be able to score it so easily.
Indeed, they go hand in glove. And Machado already has 3 assists in the first 2+ minutes of the second half after having only 2 in the first half. And a foul on Armand was his third, so he has been replaced on the floor by Kyle Smythe.
And here's this danger zone right now for Marist.
There is Smythe. Kemp the rebound, and here come the Red Foxes. Lewis around Jones for 2.
Now, great description because he just slid by him to get around him.
Machado leans in and draws the foul.
Now, Siobhan Lewis so smooth in the open floor. Nice inside out, and then just slides by the defender. Momo Jones was going to try to plant himself to pick up the charge, but the athleticism of Lewis to avoid that contact.
Lewis has a little look of a 70s or 80s NBA player. Long and lean, able to move on the fly like he does.
A little Louis Orr in him, maybe?
Yeah.
Knew you'd get a Syracuse reference in there.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
I helped you there. Nice up and under by Mike Glover. Get the sense, Doug, that Iona's come out with a little bit more energy here to start this second half.
Certainly for Iona, coming in as the heavy favorite in this game and the favorite to win this MAAC championship, traveling violation. I mean, it's always something the favorite has to guard against, coming in overconfident and overlooking or taking lightly an opponent. And not saying they necessarily did, but it's never a surprise when the favorite comes out slow. Chucky Barton's club down by 7. Back to Springfield right after this.
Hey, what are you drinking?
Dunkin' Ice.
Biggest iced coffee I can get.
Iced coffee helps me keep up. I love iced coffee.
Drinking Dunkin'.
I'm drinking Dunkin'.
Drinking Dunkin'.
Dunkin'
Iced coffee.
I run on Dunkin' Iced Coffee.
America runs on Dunkin' Coffee.
It's the playoffs. We haven't served a single calorie all season, and we're not serving one now. If you can't handle it, go sell foam fingers in the parking lot. How many calories are you carrying? 0! How much Pepsi taste? Now get out there and make me proud.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Extra cream, 3 sugars.
French vanilla. Iced coffee for me. Iced coffee with a turbo shot.
I'm drinking Dunkin'. I'm drinking Dunkin'.
I'm drinking Dunkin'.
Drinking Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin' Coffee.
Iona's lead has been stretched to 7, its largest of the night, early in the second half here at the Mass Mutual Center. Last night, the MAAC inducted the 2012 honor roll class. Iona's recipients were 1990 grad Patty Reynolds Bazille and 1984 graduate Steve Bird Sr. Bird averaged 20.9 points per game throughout his college career and led the Gales to the '84 NCAA tournament. Reynolds Bazille was the second leading scorer in Gales women's basketball history with over 1,600 points. Steve Bird Sr. and his son Steve Bird Jr., two of the most prolific scorers in the history of Iona basketball. The all-time leading three-point shooter in school history is Junior, only because Senior didn't have a three-point line to shoot from.
That's right. Dad, the #1 all-time leading scorer in the history of Iona College, and his son Stevie Burt Jr. #2.
Yep.
And you don't see that in the record books anyplace else across the country. One of the great father-son duos in the history of college basketball.
Foul on Siobhan Lewis on the reach-in. And his personal foul #3 on the freshman guard, so that smile belies the way he really feels. Lewis will stay in the game. The substitute is for Jay Bowie.
Well, you got to take your chances and roll the dice when you're Chucky Martin. You right now find yourself down by 7, and you know if you don't keep this thing at a manageable number here over about the next 5 to 10 minutes, that it's going to get away from you.
And you need to get something from a guy like Devin Price, who has been so good against Iona this year in the 2 prior meetings. He has only 3 so far tonight. Kyle Smythe has looked good off the bench here in this ball game.
Yeah, tough shot. He had Lewis with those long arms challenging that one.
Thomas kicks it out. Morton the no-look to Siobhan Lewis. Morton, well short.
And he's got to give up a couple of those. He's got to get other guys involved.
Machado behind the back, and then the finger roll.
A nice finish at the rim. Nobody steps up to take him away, so he takes full advantage.
Going behind your back in transition in traffic is a risky proposition, but he makes it look easy.
A quick shot again, and here's where all of a sudden it's starting to get away from Marist.
No look pass Machado to Glover.
That's why they are the odds-on favorite coming into this tournament. You play well, you hang around for a while, and it doesn't matter. Behind the leg, scooting across, finishing over top of the big guy Adam Kemp, who's late to come over and challenge. And after he scores it, well, nice finish right at the rim. Then the very next play, he's giving it up to a teammate.
It's a 14-3 run to begin the second half, and Machado's been in the middle of it all. He has 5 assists already in the second half for a total of 7 to go along with the 8 points. And like you said, Rob, I mean, it's hand in glove. His ability to set up Glover and Glover's ability to finish at a high rate. And we've seen that here in the first 4.5 minutes of the second half.
That's why they play so well with each other for the first 2 years that they've been together. Remember, Glover, the junior college transfer, stepped on to Iona's campus last year and made a huge impact right off the get-go. Machado last year averaged over 7.5 assists per game. And this year those numbers obviously have jumped even higher. But Mike Glover's been the guy at the receiving end of a ton of those assists.
From the moment they got together last year, it seemed like they had a synergy about them that has only blossomed since.
Especially with the alley-oop. They make eye contact. They both kind of know where the other's going with it.
10 to shoot. Iona's defense the last couple of times down has been much better. But the reach-in foul called against Machado with 7 on the shot clock. 49-36. We've got our first media time out of the second half.
The New Era Buffalo flagship store features exclusive, limited edition product that can't be found anywhere else. Choose from hundreds of cap styles, including the iconic 5950 fitted, $39.30 stretch fit, and the newest $9.50 snapback. Add to the mix New Era apparel, and you have way more than a store that just sells caps. You have a destination for a complete look. Stop by and visit us at 160 Delaware Avenue for your Sabres gear and more. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference has provided thrills and excitement to college basketball fans for over 30 years. Now you can get an inside look at the league schools and its student athletes by visiting the MAAC Experience at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. Check out the MAAC's rich history and be sure to take in the featured video, A Day in the Life of a MAAC Student Athlete. Don't miss the MAAC Experience at the Basketball Hall of Fame. For more information, visit hoophall.com.
The lead is ballooned to 13 in the blink of an eye. Quick start to the second half for the regular season champs from Iona. The 2012 MAAC Men's Lacrosse Championship will head to Marist College from May 4th through the 6th. Purchase tickets today on maac.ticketleap.com. Well, this building seats about 8,000 fans. We certainly don't have that in the building now, but what we do have is better atmosphere than we've had in some of the bigger buildings. That a crowd of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 is going to seem a whole lot better. And as the tournament goes on, as we get to the men's semis tomorrow and on to the championship games on Monday, you could have bigger crowds. And in a building of 8,000, it just seems that much better atmosphere-wise.
And it's loud in here. Yeah. We saw it in the women's semifinal when Marist, who had a big crowd with them, as Adam Kemp with a nice jump hook. They had a big crowd, and they made a big comeback. They were down double digits, and when they were making that comeback, this place got real loud.
Certainly the Marist College pep band brings a lot to the table also. Mike Glover with the easy two. 18 points now for the former Seton Hall Pirate. Quarterfinal number 2. Fairfield has already eliminated Wider and moved on to the semis. The Stags will await the winner of this one. Taj Ridley commits the foul and immediately does something you used to see all the time. Raise your hand to acknowledge, I'm the one. I committed the foul. Ridley knew he had been the violator that time. First foul on Ridley. 6'7" junior out of JFK High School in New York City.
There's one of those patented runs that you see from Iona. So one of the keys for Marist, they got to shorten these runs up. It's at 10-2. The way you shorten it is you got to come up with some stops, and you got to score the basketball yourself. For Marist, even though you're down by 13, you still got to try and keep it at a pace.
Keep in mind, Marist played a game last night, first round game, where they eliminated St. Peter's and where they were pushed to the limit. So their starters played starters minutes and played between 33 and 38, 39 minutes. So at some point, perhaps that comes into play here.
Yep. But when you're the underdog, you just got to hang around for as long as you possibly can. You don't worry about trying to score quickly. You just got to try to hang around and see if you can't make it uncomfortable for Iona down the stretch.
Javon Lewis now with 16 points to lead the Red Foxes. Here goes Glover along the baseline, and Kemp is called for the foul.
Kemp got stood up and beat baseline and then kept walking with him. Once he goes by you, you got to release. So he stands up, goes right by him, and you see him just keep walking his way underneath. Good call.
Now, you and I last week, in doing a Siena game, talked about how Odie Anasicki defends there. What's the difference between what Odie apparently can get away with and what Adam Kemp did not?
Well, you got to do it straight up, kind of body to body. That time you see Little hip check with Kemp as he's sliding. But Odie does a great job of not fouling, but stepping under guys and still creating the contact.
And we'll see the first team all-conference forward who leads the nation in rebounds in our nightcap here. Scheduled for a 9:30 tip between Odie Anasicki's Siena Saints and the Manhattan Jaspers.
And you can throw that schedule out. That will not tip on time.
You think? You and I have been doing this a long time. I don't think we've ever tipped on time on the fourth quarterfinal on Saturday.
No, last night they were pretty much on schedule.
We've been close. Yeah, we've been close. Siobhan Lewis, another mid-range jump shot.
And boy, you can just see his best days are well ahead of him, despite the fact that he's had such a terrific freshman year. Talk about the fact, clearly, Wanye Green, no-brainer as the rookie of the year in this league. But you can make a case that certainly Siobhan Lewis may have the best upside potential of any of the freshmen in this league, along with Wanye Green.
Mike Glover having his way along the baseline in the paint. He's now got 22 points, a chance for 23.
They just can't guard him. No. Even with the size of Kemp, he's just not quick enough to be able to move his feet and get in good defensive position against Glover. His eyes must light up. 25 last time out against Iona. 31 the first time. He's on his way to another one of those monster scoring games.
R.J. Hall with the basketball, senior point guard, coming off the bench for the Red Foxes. Jenkins has come in for Iona. He replaced Rashad James, who played briefly. Lewis, great body control.
Yep, and he is a tremendous mid-range game. You see so many guys that'll do it at the rim or do it from beyond the three-point line. 15 feet and in, he is really good.
That's what I'm talking about. He looks like a guy from the 70s and 80s. He has that type of game. Hall, nice little runner. Here come the Red Foxes.
Yeah, just a little bit, and again, hanging around. And they're not worried about rushing the ball up the floor. They're kind of walking it up. And by doing so, look what they've done. They've got Iona walking the ball up the floor.
Our halftime score was 35-33 Iona.
Glover calling for the basketball. That's the way to share it.
Terrific look at the give and go. Jenkins off the feed from Mike Glover.
And did you see Glover yelling at Jenkins after that? Like, good job, come on. I mean, he is playing with a ton of energy and emotion.
Hall. And certainly selfishness can be contagious on a basketball team, and so can unselfishness. And Machado, who sets the tone, certainly has had his teammates follow that unselfish tone this season. Timeout here at the MAAC Mutual Center. And when we come back, we'll get the thoughts of Iona head coach Tim Cluse as his top-seeded Gales pull away just a bit.
It's the playoffs. We haven't served a single calorie all season, and we're not serving one now. If you can't handle it, go sell foam fingers in the parking lot. How many calories are you carrying? 0! How much Pepsi taste? Now get out there and make me proud.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
You can't predict the future, but with the right education, you can be prepared. When you evolve as a person, develop mind, body, and spirit, adopt new perspectives, and adapt to your surroundings, strong truths will follow. Truths that will guide you for the rest of your life. Loyola University, Maryland. Strong truths, well lived.
When every moment matters and a hand reaches out. When someone gives blood and a life is saved. That moment when heartbreak turns to hope. You're there through the American Red Cross. Every day, the Red Cross responds to nearly 200 neighborhood emergencies. And your support makes it possible. Use this moment to join us today. Visit redcross.org.
Back here at the Mass Mutual Center with Iona's Tim Cluse. And, Coach, you said before the game that these Red Foxes were much improved.
Yeah, they're a very good team. They run really well. They shoot the ball. They can drive it by. They put 4 guards on the court with a big kid. It's a tough matchup for us.
What do you want to see from your guys down the stretch?
I just want to keep our defense solid and not let them get in the lane quite as easy. Siobhan Lewis is getting in the lane too easy on us right now. We have to do a better job of keeping him out of the paint. He hasn't hurt us with 3-pointers, but that's an area we have concern.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Vin. Indeed, Siobhan Lewis has been the only answer Marist has had at the offensive end here in the second half.
Especially, as Tim said, off the bounce and getting himself into the lane.
Well, he leads Marist with 20 points. Mike Glover's got 22 for Iona. MAAC fans, make sure to head to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame to see the MAAC exhibit. The MAAC Experience displays all 10 MAAC institutions and highlights of their basketball performances over the years. This is the first year for the MAAC, using Springfield as its tournament host, and a big part of that equation is the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame that is a short walk from here, just the other side of the highway, and they've really done a nice job, the city of Springfield has, to tie the two together and welcome the MAAC here this spring.
Yeah, not only the exhibit that's there all season long, the championship banners of both the men's and women's teams hang in the Hall of Fame throughout the year, and then utilizing that facility this weekend. They had the award ceremony on Thursday night there inside the Rotunda, and then last night with the honor roll inductees, the first time the MAAC has done that, and that was a tremendous event there on the floor of the Hall of Fame last night.
Mascot Machado hits the free throw. Tim Cluse talked earlier this week about the fact that when he was a Division II coach at CW Post on Long Island, they made the NCAA tournament, which had games played here. And he just raved about the fact that this area, this city in particular, is able to get behind basketball even if you don't have a home team involved.
Well, if you think about it, it is the birthplace of basketball. With the Hall of Fame here, as Siobhan Lewis continues his torrid play, they embrace basketball, and they're used to it. They still have one of the great high school events here, the Hoop Hall Classic on Martin Luther King weekend. And as you were talking about, the Division II championships, the Elite Eight were here for years.
It's Iona basketball. Machado will inbound with 19 seconds on the shot clock. Iona has stretched a 2-point halftime lead to 11. Bad pass. Lewis got a hand on it. And then he is called for the foul. That is the 4th on Lewis. Adam Kemp also has 4 for the Red Foxes.
So Jay Bowie will come in and give Lewis a rest.
He takes the seat with 22 points. He and Glover share game-high honors. And Lewis has been so efficient, 9 of 16 from the field. And right now, with 10:41 to go, the Red Foxes may be teetering on the brink.
Especially without Lewis on the floor, who has single-handedly carried them offensively.
Here's Jones. Guarded by Price. Taj Ridley is fouled before any shot can be taken. Tough matchup for Jay Bowie, giving up a couple of inches. He commits the foul.
But he doesn't give up strength, and that's one of the things when Siobhan Lewis went into the starting lineup. Bowie basically slid down and now all of a sudden became an undersized 4-man, but he's been real effective. His numbers prior to that switch in the lineup, he was averaging about 5 points per game. That's jumped up to 11 points and 6 rebounds, and I think he's really found the niche for himself.
And the guy on the short end of the playing time in that equation is Anel Alexis, who was a starter for much of the year. But then the switch was made. Now he's got a hard time getting any minutes on the floor, but the changes have certainly worked and suited the two guys in their new roles. Ridley now with 4 points. Pass for the 2 made free throws. This is the Gales' largest lead of the night. They were down by 9 early, down 11-2 in the opening minutes, but then inched their way back to take a slim lead at halftime, and they have continued to stretch it here in the first 10 minutes of the second half.
And you know, Tim Cluse would love to be able to stretch it so that you can sit your starters for a little bit. Remember, this is a proposition where it's 3 games in 3 days, so anytime that you can get yourself any separation, get a big enough lead where you can sit some guys and get them rest, I think it always pays dividends down the line.
In our first quarterfinal, Fairfield won a thriller over Ryder. 1 second on the shot clock for Marist. The Stags will be waiting for the winner of this one, and they're unable to get it off. Shot clock violation. We still don't have tenths of a second on our shot clocks in college basketball, so you don't know if that one that was up there was a tenth of a second.
So it seemed to Chucky Martin that it was a quick horn, but you're right. It could have been less than a second. 0.5. Certainly, R.J. Hall was able to catch and shoot, but he pump faked to allow the defender by him. Ball was still in his hand when the horn went off. Now look at that. Efficiency on the offensive end by Iona. 10 of 12, making 11 out of 13. A lot of it early on was because Mike Glover was having his way. That time, Momo Jones getting a high percentage shot on the feed from Mike Glover. Glover starting to rack up a couple assists here in the second half.
He's got 3 assists for the game. And you have been talking, Rob, all night about the fact that Glover certainly brought it. I mean, he has played with emotion and passion right from the start.
Much like he did last year. You and I remember that quarterfinal game. It was as if he was saying, look, you guys voted the wrong way, and I'm going to show you how. And he was a member of the all-tournament team last year when he put up big numbers, averaged 22 points and 10 rebounds in the MAAC tournament.
Ridley apparently dragged his pivot foot, and so the Red Foxes get the ball back. Iona has 4 players in double figures now, with Jones getting to 11. Machado and Armand both have 10, and Glover has 22. Yes, he traveled.
And then stepped out of bounds, so take your pick.
Nice job by Machado to sneak around the baseline, and then the foul against Hall.
Just a smart play on the post feed. Hanging around on the backside. Scott Machado realized he was going to have an opportunity for the steal. Get into the game with 186 career steals. And again, since it leads him to the baseline, it led right to a steal opportunity for Machado.
Well, Rob, I know you're not an NBA scout, but where do you see Scott Machado fitting in, A, to the draft this coming June, and B, in the league?
Well, 2 things. One, dependent upon how he plays after the season, is probably going to determine whether or not he gets into the back end of the first round of the draft, or whether or not he slips to the beginning of the second round of the draft. And then after that, it's about the right opportunity and the right team. And just think about what all of a sudden Linsanity's been all about, right? And think cut by 2 teams. He's with the Knicks. The Knicks were about to waive him. All of a sudden he got the opportunity and took advantage of it. And that's all that Scott Machado's going to be able to ask for. Get with the right team that values a point guard that's going to get other guys touches and put it where it needs to be, and then see if you can take advantage of the opportunity when it comes. One big thing he's got to continue to work on is his outside shot. Worked really hard on that in the offseason, but he's got to even take it a little bit further.
24 points for Glover. Yeah, the numbers for Machado are very good three-point shooting-wise, 40%, but that's at the college line. He needs to extend it out, and he does not have that sort of range at this point to get to the NBA three-point line.
And his threes are all spot-up threes. He's got to, as well, be able to get them off a little bit quicker. When you see him take threes, he makes sure he's got plenty of time before that basketball gets out of his hands.
Jones Jones and Bowie both went down hard. Both appear to be okay. Look on Momo's face was priceless. Picks up his second personal. You may have noticed Momo Jones has a wrap on his left hand. He's been playing with a middle finger injury on that left hand most of the season, and it's not been a problem. Says he's just glad it's not on his right hand. Morton to Bowie. Nice finish.
Yeah, Bowie going to his naturally strong left hand to get it.
Jenkins. And attempts the rebound. Here comes Isaiah Morton. He jacks it up and hits.
Well, you know what? Every once in a while, you get yourself some energy. Isaiah Morton was sitting for a while when R.J. Hall was on the floor. Morton's come in and made a couple of good plays back to back. Just hanging around enough to keep the fans in the ball game and as well keep the Iona starters on the floor.
See over my right shoulder, the Niagara Purple Eagles are heading into the locker room to get ready for their quarterfinal, which is upcoming. Machado with another nice finish.
And Tim Kluse wanted a timeout after that basket. Unable to get it.
Morton from the same spot.
Starting to feel it. Remember, Isaiah Morton was a prolific scorer in high school. Nearly 2,300 points for Paul Rodeo down at St. Augustine in South Jersey. The all-time leading scorer in school history.
Timeout here at the Mass Mutual Center as the Red Foxes look to get back in the ball game. Iona, though, holding on to a 67-56 lead. .56, Iona leading Marist. And it's still not too late to come out to the 2012 MAAC Basketball Championships here at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Mass. Good seats still available. You can purchase your tickets for the remaining games by either logging on to Ticketmaster.com or by calling 1-800-745-3000. Or if you're here in Springfield or in the area, stop on by the Mass Mutual Center box office. The 2012 MAAC Basketball Championships on the edge of glory. There are 7 men's teams remaining in the field, including Chuck Martin's Marist Red Foxes after beating St. Peter's in a first-round game last night. And his program continues on an upward arc. And the program that Chuck Martin inherited 4 years ago was a long ways from where they are right now and pushing the regular season champs from Iona.
And clearly, when you look at their talent level and how they've played coming down the stretch, it's easy to say that they've finally turned the corner. took over for Matt Brady, who did a tremendous job with the Red Foxes, won a ton of games, including a regular season championship 2 years before he ended up leaving to go to James Madison. But with the change and with Matt leaving and going to James Madison, really Chucky stepped in. And when you talk about the cupboard being bare, it was bare because there just weren't bodies. Not that there wasn't good talent or anything. There just simply weren't enough bodies. And it's taken a little while. They've made a couple of mistakes on the recruiting trail, but the last couple of recruiting classes, not so many mistakes, including a great find in that guy right there, Siobhan Lewis. And that's what you need to do. You need to back up a couple of good, solid, productive recruiting classes. And that's what Chucky Martin and his staff, led by associate head coach Paul Lee, that's what they've been able to do over the last 2 years. And now it's really starting to pay dividends.
Now you sort of reference this. Do you feel like they have truly turned the proverbial corner?
Yeah, I think they have. When you look at this team now, you say, okay, you're going to be all right. You got a solid post guy in Adam Kemp. You got a guy in Siobhan Lewis who can be a star in this league. They've got everybody back except for R.J. Hall. Devin Price has continued to play well. Isaiah Morton up and down as a freshman point guard. And now a role for Jay Bowie. They've got to make sure they back it up with another good recruiting class. And if they do that, I think indeed they have turned the corner.
Iona's largest lead here in the second half was 17 points. Taj Ridley has it rim out. Price was the last to touch, and so the Gales will keep it. Glover backing down, misses from point-blank range. Haven't seen much of that here in the second half. That time an air ball off the three by Morton. Machado finds Armand, touch pass Glover. Another missed layup, but this time he's able to finish, and Kemp looks around to say, why on earth were you blowing that whistle? Unfortunately, though, for Mr. Kemp, that is his fifth foul.
Well, Mike Glover doing his best. Moses Malone imitation. At his stats. With the miss right at point blank, but tough shot there. But look at how athletic he is and strong to be able to go back. You can see why Adam Kemp is looking around. He was backing away. See, how? I didn't even challenge it.
You may notice the black stripe that's been added to the Marist College uniforms in recent weeks. That's because of an off-campus fire that occurred early in the morning on Saturday, January 21st, that claimed the lives of 3 Marist students, Eva Block and Carrie Fitzsimmons, and former Marist student Kevin Johnson. We say, quote, 3 members of the Marist family. And their home games on January 22nd and 23rd, of men's and women's games. They were both postponed and played at a later date. And the bans have been placed onto the uniforms for both the men's and women's programs. Certainly a huge loss for that Marist College community in Poughkeepsie, New York. And Glover piling up the points. He's now got 27. Nowhere near his career high, which is 39, which came last year against Canisius. The Gales must love playing the Griffs. Earlier this year, Momo Jones lit Canisius up for 43 points. Machado, no look. Armand for 3. Mike Glover.
Wow, he is a man possessed right now. He's just playing with great energy. Absolutely took over this second half of the ball game. He has owned the paint.
Siobhan Lewis, another mid-range jumper.
One dribble, get a little separation from the defense, and nice stroke to be able to finish. He has single-handedly carried this Marist squad, now with 23.
Actually make it 25, Rob, and that's a new career high. They're a little bit slow on our stats monitor here. Mike Glover's up to 29 and Lewis up to the career high. Here he comes again. Drops it off this time, but the layup is missed. Smythe knocks it out to Machado.
But Lewis made the right play, had his fellow freshman Manny Thomas running the floor, unselfishly gave it up. Thomas got to be able to finish that. Getting inside the last media timeout. But I wonder whether or not Tim Cluse is going to start thinking about going to his bench. Even though it's only a 15-point lead, all Iona's thinking about is 3 games. Not 1 game, 3 games.
Machado down the lane. And another 2, as easy as that.
Well, when he's gotten into the lane, there hasn't been that help side defense, so he's had to score. I think at times that's the best way to play him. Force him to be a scorer. Don't allow him to be a passer. He's just too good at getting everybody else involved.
16 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds for Machado, who walks it into the front court.
And you would think now this separation, you're going to get an opportunity to empty the bench if you're the Gales.
Machado just working time off the clock. Again, another foray into the paint, and again he gets the roll.
And the timeout by Tim Cluse. As you see, guys getting into it a bit. Joe DeMeo, good piece of officiating to jump right in between.
Well, Machado is the young man who drives the bus, but the man who has been doing the bulk of the scoring, especially here in the second half, the recipient of many of those passes, Mike Glover.
He had great energy right from the start of this ball game, and he, especially in the second half, has just absolutely owned the paint. Getting everything done in that blue area, whether it's on the offensive glass, as well as coming up with a couple assists, getting his teammates involved. But right there, the energy that he showed after that play, the energy you saw there on the offensive rebound and put back. When he plays with that type of energy, he is unstoppable in this league.
And he is our Pepsi MAAC player of the game for his 29 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, the efficiency that we're used to. 11 out of 18 from the floor, and he is 3rd in the country in field goal percentage, 65%. He's not going to catch Missouri's Ricardo Ratliff, but a terrific season all the way around, and it appears that it'll continue for sure into the MAAC semifinals tomorrow afternoon.
And good timeout by Tim Cluse on that bucket to get his starters to the bench, able to sit them here for the last 3 minutes.
Trinity Fields just off the bench. A little bit cold and slow in responding to the Isaiah Morton drive. Fields and Jenkins in the backcourt with Smythe and Armand. Taj Ridley, the only true big on the floor for the Gales. Morton called for the foul. And our last media timeout. We'll step away from the MAAC Mutual Center here in Springfield.
Welcome to the end. For the glory of the Division I MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center in Springfield. Action guaranteed to have you on the edge of your seat.
All the way with the slam dunk.
The way to the NCAA. The MAAC Championship. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center. Grab your tickets at Ticketmaster.com, Massachusetts.com, or at the Mass Mutual Center box office.
How did I get here? Dumb luck? Or good decisions? Ones I've made, ones we've all made. About marriage, children, money, about tomorrow. Here's to good decisions.
Who matters most to you says the most about you. Mass Mutual is owned by our policyholders, so they matter most to us. Mass Mutual. We'll help you get there.
That's the worst half of football I've ever seen. Are you telling me we can't do this?
I got this, Coach.
You know, people said, Pepsi Max,
You can't get maximum Pepsi taste with 0 calories.
Who said that?
But Pepsi Max didn't listen.
We just delivered it. So get out there and taste that sweet 0-calorie victory.
The little guy's right.
Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Do you validate parking?
The Pepsi Max National MAAC Game of the Week is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Blue Rock Energy. Blue Rock Energy saves you money on electricity and natural gas. Blue Rock Energy, putting people in power. The American Red Cross, encouraging you to do something that means something. Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock, is proud to sponsor the MAAC. And by Dunkin' Donuts. What are you drinking? America runs on Dunkin'. One of the young fans rooting on the Iona Gales here in Springfield, Mass. Iona located in New Rochelle, New York, just outside of New York City. Not a long drive at all to make it up here to the Mass Mutual Center. Tickets still available if you'd like to come up for tomorrow's semis. MAAC fans, the MAAC is on Facebook. Make sure to like the MAAC today.
And Jermel Jenkins coming off a season-high 21 on senior day when he knocked down 7 threes. The second all-time leader in that category in Iona history. Part of this senior class that has had tremendous success. Their 3rd consecutive 20-win season. And for the 2nd consecutive season, they're going to go above 25 wins.
Tough news recently about his alma mater, though.
Yes, St. Pat's, and like many of the small Catholic schools throughout the Northeast, announced that they're going to close the doors at St. Pat's, although there is an effort made by some of the NBA players who have graduated from St. Pat's, Kyrie Irving, Al Harrington, Samuel Dellenberg, to try to figure out if there's a way to keep St. Pat's open. One of the reasons why Kevin Boyle, the great coach at St. Pat's, left last year to go to Montverde Academy, because staring out the possibility of consolidation of the school along with St. Mary's of Elizabeth.
And there is the product of St. Pat's right on cue. And Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, one of the terrific freshmen at the University of Kentucky, was at St. Pat's last year, and you can add him to that list perhaps next year of NBA players putting their money where their mouth is and trying to save things for what has been one of the great programs in the country, not just in New Jersey, not just in the Northeast, but the entire country.
And also created this triumvirate in North Jersey, where you had St. Benedict, St. Pat's, and St. Anthony's, 3 of the best high school programs in the country, all separated by 20 miles. And the last 5 to 10 years, really the last 10 years in New Jersey high school basketball, have been as good as it gets.
Josh Gomez has come into the game for Iona and blocks the shot. Diggs Mukoibu will also come in for Iona. Gomez has gotten very little playing time this year. They're hoping that down the road, with that size, he'll be able to help the program. He's 6'10", 200 pounds, freshman out of Rice High School.
Another high school that closed down. Yeah. Legendary high school program in New York City.
And you wonder how many more will follow that path.
Bob Hurley, the legendary and Hall of Fame coach at St. Anthony's High School, has really made it his charge to try and speak out as much as possible about how important it is to keep these Catholic high schools open, especially in our inner city areas. And he's taken it as it's been his life's work to try and keep St. Anthony's open, as it has been threatened a number of times, but now taking it beyond that and trying to help other schools throughout the metropolitan area.
Yeah, without the Hall of Famer Coach Hurley.
Oh, yeah.
Would the program, would the school still be around? He's as much fundraiser as he is coach.
Yeah, 100% no, it would not.
Which makes you wonder what's going to happen at the point where he decides to retire. Mukoibu, he has been red hot since coming off the bench.
And so you'll pick up the paper and you're going to see a 27-point win, and you're going to think Iona had an easy time of it. The score does not reflect how competitive Marist was throughout most of this ball game.
Morton finishes now with 17 points after the layup. But Iona, after a struggle in the first half, shows its dominance in the second half, and the number 1 seed moves on to the semifinal.
And you see the gap between them and everybody else. Even though Marist played well, 4 long stretches of the ball game, Tim Kluse's team able to walk away with a 24-point win, and really never were threatened late in the ball game at all.
And so our first semifinal tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN3 will be all chalk. Top-seeded Iona, 4th-seeded Fairfield will square off. And then we've got 2 quarterfinals still to come here tonight. Loyola and Niagara, followed by Manhattan and Siena in the nightcap.
Well, heading into this season, everybody thought Iona and Fairfield were going to beat in the MAAC tournament. A lot of people thought that was going to be in the championship game. It's going to be in the semifinal, and that'll be an interesting matchup.
Let's send it over to Vin Parisi, standing by with the winning coach and our Pepsi Max player of the game. Vin?
Hi, here with Tim Kluse and Mike Glover. And Coach, second half, it was all Iona Gal basketball, both ends of the court, the way you like to see it.
Yeah, I think our defense led to our offense, so we're more solid. And then the guys relaxed. I think everyone was trying to do a little too much in the first half. Told them, just do what you do. You don't need to be more than who you are. I thought they did a better job of that at halftime.
Do you feel like this group has a different edge this year? Are they on more of a mission?
Yeah, I think they're more mature, and I think that's possibly why we came out the way we did, too, is that they wanted to make a statement so bad. They wanted to make it on every possession instead of letting the game just work itself out.
Thanks, Coach. Great job. Congrats on the semis, and congrats, big man, getting it done there, especially in the second half. Did you feel like you could do whatever you wanted in the paint?
Yes, absolutely. As soon as we got Adam Kemp out of the game, our job was to pretty much get him in as much foul trouble as we can, and to pretty much stop Devin Price from getting it going as well. He got it going in the first half, so we pretty much was slacking defensively in the first half. So we had a long talk in the locker room at halftime, and we didn't want our season to end so quickly because we've earned our way here, and we worked so hard to get to this point. So we had to just make a statement in the second half defensively. I think that's what we did today.
You're moving on to the semifinals. Has it been challenging for you guys to take it one game at a time? Because everyone automatically just talks about you guys being in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. It's all about staying humble and just being patient, you know. But we, as a team, as a group, we're still not satisfied as of right now. Right now, we're going to go back to the hotel and do some more scouting and get ready for the game tomorrow.
Congrats. Good job, my man. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Vin. Mike Glover, Scott Machado did what we expected them to do in the quarterfinal round robin.
And took care of business, and certainly maybe a little closer than they wanted in the first half. But in the second half, they really established themselves early on. And when Glover plays with that energy in the paint, I'm not sure that there's a guy that can handle him one-on-one isolated in the low post.
Glover went for 29 points, along with 7 rebounds. Machado had 18 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Iona wins 87-63 over Marist. Join us later today for our next MAAC basketball championship broadcast on ESPN3. Next up tonight, the 3rd men's quarterfinal featuring the 2nd-seeded Loyola Greyhounds taking on the 7th-seeded Niagara Purple Eagles. Fairfield has moved on. Iona has moved on. Who will move on next? For Rob Kennedy, Vin Parisi, and our entire crew, I'm Doug Sherman saying so long from Springfield. The proceeding has been a presentation of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.